interested in the show.
Welcome to Ring the Damn Bell. I am KG, and with me we have the superficial Hall of Famer, the cooker, Bob Cook.
Yeah, it's a superficial Hall of Fame.
As always, we have Mark, the late wrestling enthusiast, and George Strong, the best damn referee in the business. What's up, all of you guys?
Oh wow! Thank you.
And Mark, we don't care how bad your wife's cooking is. Don't be late again.
Dude, my wife's an excellent cook, and I wasn't late. I got here at 7:30.
No, on time is late. So before we get into Monday Night Raw, Bob Cook, this looks familiar to you?
Yeah. I'm in there. My name's in there. I see my name in there.
It is. But why don't you tell everybody, explain to them about the cover?
Oh, Cactus Jack being honored at the Cauliflower Alley Club on the 18th of August through the 20th for the 59th annual reunion. Yes, that's what that is.
Yes, and also, was there just announcement that Cowboy Bob Orton as well?
Yes. He's getting the Men's Wrestling Award this year, and we had some of those ears at the Legends Lunch this past Saturday. Brian brought a bunch of them. Yeah,
so guys, you have to be a member in order to go to this. So you could go to caulifloweralleyclub.org. It will tell you all the different memberships. There's options. I pay $36 a year. 10 cents a day, guys. That's cheap. And the cost to go to this event is also, part of it is the dinner. I mean, it's a really, really good price in order to go to that. Go ahead, Bob. Bob.
I was just going to say 2 dinners.
Yes. Yeah. So it's really good price, guys. Check it out. This is something that if you're going to be in the area, I highly advise you go. Just like Fan Fest 3, it's the weekend of the 16th. It lasts the 16th or the 17th. Man, we're gonna have Baby down there, the Rock and Roll Express, Tito Santana, the Boogeyman, Kevin Von Erich, and so many more legends that's going to be there. Go to sicw.org to get your tickets. That's in St. Louis. It's going to be a great time. Let's get to the review of Monday Night Raw.
All right, so we start with Jey Uso to the ring, then Paul Heyman soon to follow. Then Paul Heyman proceeds in dismantling the bloodline and how Roman Reigns did him wrong. I agree with Paul wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I thought, and Mark, you said this, that you were dead on. I thought the man was about to have a stroke.
Right.
I don't know if I've ever seen Paul Heyman that animated before. This was probably my favorite part of the show. The show kind of went downhill after this. Cooker, what did you think about this? The opening segment.
Well, I'm thinking that's what Paul looked like on the night one of his kids was conceived, but
yeah. But thinner.
Well, I don't know about that, but definitely probably not as loud either. But the facial expressions, the immense sweating and the clear, it looked like he was going to have a heart attack or a stroke. Yeah.
If that was scripted, it was done very well, but I think it was kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah. George, what about you, man? What you think about the segment?
How do you follow that answer? No, I'm just kidding. No,
That's
dude. No, I
She
agree.
probably
He did
says-
look like he was about to.
She probably says Paul doesn't know it, but he wasn't there that night. Oops.
Oh, bazinga! No, dude, it was like classic like ECW Paul promo. So it's like I love the segment, but he did look like he was about to pop out of that suit and turn into a cherry or a hot air balloon because he was going, dude. And like I think Jey Uso was all of us. The faces he was making while Paul was talking, was like, dude, chill out. What is wrong with you? Like he just.
I really
But
thought
yeah.
he was gonna have a stroke. I really thought I
But
thought they were gonna carry him out.
I think that
I mean, everything he said was spot on, though. But it's just the whole scene was great. Like the whole everything.
yeah, when Uso then went to speak after Paul was done, I pissed on myself when he just said, "Are you okay?" I mean, that was just great. That was just.
That was excellent. That was
I
perfect.
mean, that was that was great.
I think he needed a minute.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew what to say.
Now, ultimately, what came of this segment was him suckering Uso to say he was going to defend his title tonight against Seth Rollins. I'm going to be honest. Normally, I'm like, okay, might be a good match, but there's no way that someone who just got the title is going to drop it that quickly. But this time around, I was actually questioning if Jay was going to only have the title for a few weeks and Seth is going to be the new champ, because at some point of this faction, he's going to have to become the champion, or else to me, this faction was done for nothing. I know some people don't need a belt. Seth needs the belt to really push that this is the right decision that we made. This faction is unstoppable. And we'll get to the match once he gets there.
Is it a faction or just a tag team at this point?
It's going to be a faction.
All right. So yeah, ultimately, yeah, it was Paul representing Seth, challenging Jay for the belt. Then we go to a recap of Penta's issue with Judgment Day, and after that we go to War Raiders versus Finn. Apparently last week, War Raiders versus Finn and JD. They retained their titles last week, but they lost it 2 weeks ago. According to Michael Cole, it was last week. So Michael Cole screwed the pooch again.
Well, what
You
did
have
Pooch
such
look
a
like?
fucking man.
Vintage Michael Cole, man. That's like
Get
his old
off
days
of
when he was
Michael
doing
Cole's dick, for the love of God.
that.
The big question is, what did the Pooch look like? That's what I.
Oh,
I don't know, but any chance I get to nail Michael Cole across, I will.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I could think of someone who would rather him take his place.
I think anybody. I could train a chimp to do better than Michael Cole.
I meant better take his place on the cross. That's what.
Oh yeah.
It was a God on the cross. He didn't want to be hanging there. He said if someone else would take his place, he could go have some, something else
I'll
going
put
on.
Michael Cole
Well,
there.
look, this is the thing. When me and Mark first started doing this podcast, we specifically said that we were not, we will give our opinions, but we could do so without trashing the performer, because unless we can do it better, then we can't, we could say we didn't enjoy the match or whatnot, but we wouldn't trash the performer. So, Mark, can you do a better job than Michael Cole?
Yeah, with his years of experience, I could. Yeah.
No. No, that's not how it works.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
I don't know. I haven't given the opportunity. I haven't been given the opportunity. I don't know.
Yeah. Back to the War Raiders. This match was just boring to me. I had no interest in it whatsoever. George, is the War Raiders fighting the Judgment Day, JD Vance? Is this tickling your fancy?
Hey, Michael Cole, it's not JD Vance.
I mean, JD Vance, Jesus Christ.
JD McDonough.
Yeah, McDonough.
JD
Not
Vance, who's
really.
that?
Not really moving the needle for me either. I mean, I'm a big fan of the War Raiders. I mean, they haven't amounted to what they used to be. Obviously, because everybody slows down, or you just go to a company that doesn't use you well. They were great
You know
in
what-
NXT. They haven't
you know
been
what
good on the main roster, but it wasn't. Again, it wasn't a terrible match, but not something I was looking to see again or anything like that.
You know what the good news is? The War Raiders are a big fan of you. If you were a donut,
Hey, I took Eric's hand after a SmackDown one night.
I am just not a fan of the Wall Raiders whatsoever. Mark, what do you think? I mean, was this a match that you couldn't wait to see?
No, God, no. No, there's nothing exciting. These guys should have everything, but there's nothing to draw. Absolutely nothing. I don't see anything that is appealing to for these guys.
I had high hopes for them. Whenever they went back to the name of the War Raiders and they started cutting those the darkest promos, very much reminded me of shades of the Road Warriors. Those promos that were
What?
really the promos they were cutting were really, really done well.
do you see this? This is simply a little handheld gimmick for phones. You can go around and film. I wish it was a gun right now.
Go back and watch earlier this year the promos that they were cutting. They were in plain clothes. They looked really good, and I had high hopes for them. The problem is that when they got to the ring, it was the same old boring ass shit as far as I'm concerned.
I don't
Yeah,
even
but you
know.
know what? For guys their size, they actually can move pretty well.
That's true.
And that's the thing,
gimmick.
though. It's like they're great performers. It's just, it's like there's not much of a pop when they come out. People like them, but they're not into them until they start wrestling. They don't really care about anything else to do. And that's a detriment to them as well as, presentation. But literally, I could go back and watch Ring of Honor and New Japan stuff where it was like they looked amazing. And they can still, they can still do that to an extent, but it's not happening in WWE the way it should have.
But it's a true story that when they were all sitting around one night and they said catering's ready, that some of the NFL teams were investigating the War Raiders because they were so fast on their feet.
I mean, I think it's the gimmick. For me at least, it's the gimmick. I just could not get into this gimmick.
It's not a popular opinion, but I actually like them better as the Viking Raiders. I didn't like the name, but like that whole gimmick thing, like it kind of works in wrestling sometimes. And when you're just yourself and you're still wearing gimmick and you're not really doing anything with what you're wearing, kind of turns you off a little bit. So it's like I've seen some great stuff they do as the Viking Raiders with the promos and vignettes they did. Then they're back to the War Raiders. It's like, hey guys, we're wrestlers. Well, why are y'all wearing face paint? Why are y'all dressing like Vikings? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of wrong messages.
Aren't those guys into that culture anyways? They go to those
they are.
medieval
they
fairs
are.
or whatever the heck it is. I don't know.
That's what blew me away about it. It's like they didn't like what Vince gave them. I'm like, they look better that way. I liked them as heel Vikings, and they weren't the berserker, but you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have to do that. It was much better.
He's a cool guy, by the way.
Honestly, I think
I've heard.
I think one thing that may be happening is we're seeing the wrestling audience starting to change. Right now, the wrestling audience really reminds me of right before the Attitude Era started. And as I said in the last podcast, there will never be another Attitude Era. That's not what I'm saying. But the audience, just like when the Attitude Era was about to begin, they were sick of the cartoon gimmicks and they were cheering for the heels. Look at what the fans are doing right now. They are cheering for those heels instead of the baby faces. And I think that we are about to see some type of a new era be born because of this. And I think, and Mark, I'll get to you. And I think that is one of the problems with the War Raiders is that they're too cartoonish, and I just don't think the crowd wants to see that anymore. Go ahead, Mark.
2 words for you. Logan Paul. They boo him.
Yeah.
Well,
but
they are still booing some heels.
Well, they are, but Logan Paul is someone that everyone loves to boo. They love to see him get his face punched, right? But you have, guys are supposed to be heels like the Hurt Syndicate. and-
Dom.
right, Dom, and so many other ones that they are cheering. So you are right. There are those that are just, I think, the natural heels that are getting booed, but the guys that are kind of, and women that are just kind of cool, that are supposed to be heels, those are the ones that are getting cheered.
Right.
So what about Bob? I want to know your opinion about it. I mean, do you agree that what the crowd is doing right now is very similar to how they were reacting right before the Attitude Era began, and maybe that's the problem with the War Raiders is they're just too cartoonish. Crowd doesn't want that anymore.
No.
No.
No. I just think the crowd's fickle.
Well, yeah. I mean,
They don't know what
that's a
they
given.
want.
That's a given.
You're talking about they don't want clowns, but they got Seth Rollins. Now, he's not a clown when the bell rings usually, but he dresses like a complete clown most of the time.
Yeah.
And people love it.
They pick and choose who they like, and who likes two fat guys. I mean, man, I hate fat people. Disgust me.
Yeah.
I take a shower with my clothes on just so I don't get a glimpse of myself in the mirror getting out. I hate fat people.
Yep. Lightning in the comments said, "What's up? What's going on, Lightning? Thank you for joining the podcast, my friend."
What's his name?
Lighten the Titan.
Oh, okay.
If you
the
right,
Titan.
please
Huh?
see so.
I'm stealing that one.
Lighten the Titan. Wonder what that means. What's it mean? Have him explain his name. What's it mean?
I'm
What is
stealing it, and I'm
The
trademarking
Hall
it.
of Famer Bob Cook wants to
How?
know why your name is Lightning the Titan. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. So next we go to Penta versus JD McDonough. A little bit of interference, but Penta pulls off the win. I wasn't excited about this match. I'm sorry.
No. And I'm really surprised. I thought when JD McDonough came back, he would get this just massive pop because of the accident and what took him out. And when he came out, the crowd didn't really care. I don't now. You're shaking your head, Gerald. Let me ask you this. Do you think that it's because of how he made his comeback, where he just kind of showed up and interfered in the match instead of?
Yeah, so I was about to say, so the return pop was when he came back, because they surprised you, like, hey, he's back. He's wrestling, and this goes kind of circles back to what you're saying about people not liking heels, people liking heels. JD McDonough is not really a guy people like. Like, he's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong, and everybody knows he's Finn's like number one student, but when it comes to heels, it's not that he does the job great, but he does it well enough that people still don't like him. And he was such an asshole in NXT when he was a heel that, you still don't like him on the main roster. You don't need to like everybody or I'm happy he's back. But at the same time, and I do like him wrestling, but at the same time, it's like there's people that believe that there are some heels that you just hate just because. And some people don't even understand, and whatever the concept of hating heels or not liking heels is, some people say, oh, well, he's not a good wrestler. Oh, I just don't like the person. Well, it's working. That's what that is. That's called working. And if you don't like something about him and he's a heel, then he's doing something right. So that's where I see JD is. He got the pop like, all right, welcome back. And then it's like, all right, now you suck again.
Right.
I just think that for myself, man, there's something missing in this character. He's not entertaining whatsoever as far as I'm concerned. Mark, what about? I mean, do you think
he's an even boringer version of Lance Storm?
God damn! I thought you had to be dead to be a more
or Adam Cole. Adam Cole.
He is a more boring performer. And he's a great worker. Don't get me wrong, he's a great worker. But as far as personality, shit, I've pissed on a she-shell and got more personality out of it.
Yeah. Bob, what are your thoughts? Do you think JD's this massive future star?
No, not at all. And when you don't come up to the second rope, it's hard to go beyond where he is.
Yeah, his body didn't catch up with his head. Like he's got a massive like bulldog head, and then he's like a little short person like my height, and it's like, dude, what happened?
He's the only bobblehead wrestler out there.
Look, that bobblehead man, when he was originally injured, I'm glad he's okay.
No, we're all glad he's all right. But the point is,
the thing is when he landed on the table, it's like he hit the back of his head or something, and it's like his head's so big that it traveled down his body and began
I knew that's what you're about to say.
lungs,
He
man.
hits the table and punctures a lung when the back of his head hit the corner of the table. It's like, let me just shift my focus in my brain to the rest of my body and see where the pain goes.
Yes, body manipulation control.
The problem is there's so many other people that can be put in that spot that look the part as a star or potential star. Why not try something new when something old isn't working to begin with?
Right.
I don't know.
So he can probably do a moonsault and a triple somersault. Whoop-de-doo. Put someone else in the spot, for God's sakes. He's a pro wrestler. Someone that looks like a pro wrestler.
Barely.
Not micro championship wrestling.
All right.
Man. I love
Next we go to-
micro.
What?
I love micro championship wrestling.
Well, JD can be fired and get a job.
Man. I agree, man. I just went and watched. No, because he doesn't have enough personality to be with these guys, man. Those guys are absolutely back.
Well, we'll put some makeup on him. He'll be all right.
He could be Andre the Giant in the midget.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
JD the Giant.
Let me stop us talk about Raw for a second. This is something that just really happened since Bob brought up micro championship wrestling.
Uh-oh.
These guys were performing in Colorado. There's a group there, I can't remember the name of them, that got together and caused this big uproar because they're saying that this company is exploiting the wrestlers. And I mean, it was a big deal. And my thing is this: every one of these guys, regardless if they had the issues as far as the height, I don't know the proper term now, little people or whatnot, but every single one of those individuals, their dream was to be a professional wrestler. They're able to live out their dreams right now. The average individual wrestling for this company, I did some research, makes between $75,000 to $100,000. And these people want to shut this company down. You tell me, where can someone who has the condition, being a little person, where else can they go to make that type of money that they're making at?
And travel.
Right.
And travel, yeah.
It's these over-the-top fucking liberal assholes that want to interfere in things because they think they're saving people when in fact they're harming people.
They're going to cut somebody's paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. Drives me nuts.
They're the same kind of people who are deathly against pornography, but they're trying to get child porn off the dark web. Oh, wait a minute. Did I go there?
Yeah, I mean,
where'd that come from, Duke the Dumpster Drosy?
It just stuff like that just really pisses me off, man. It's like, leave these individuals alone. They're making
what you do is you get them all in a room and you say, do you all feel exploited? And they can scream at the top of their lungs, no, we don't feel exploited at all.
Right.
Like little people, like, we all live, whatever that Wizard of Oz, whatever that was. But they're not exploited. That's the dumbest thing ever, though, to say they're exploited. Like you said, they're doing something they love and they have an outlet to do it. They can't do it in a regular ring like we got back here. They got to have a custom-made ring. Exploited. If it's not bothering you, why is it? If it's not bothering them, why is it bothering you?
Right, and that's the thing. Look, I've watched their show on Max, and every single one of those individuals, they specifically said, we never thought we'd be able to live our dream like we are right now. So again, leave them the fuck alone.
And back in the 70s and 80s, they had, only a few of the little people. What do they like to be called? I don't want to offend anybody. Those people. What do you mean those people?
I'm pretty sure it's little people. Y'all are right. Yeah. I mean,
but they had only a few of those back in the 70s, and they would travel around the territory to territory, come in for a week or two, and they had to work in the big rings and do their thing. But now they have their own company. Leave them alone. Jeez.
And they get paid more than the guys that are regular size.
Exactly. More than I ever made.
This company's been around, 2 years? And these guys are making more than half these independent guys are?
Yeah, I mean, they're selling out, these
guys,
places.
These men and women are making John Cena money, and there's people that look like John Cena ain't making John Cena money.
Right.
Well, I hope John Cena's making more than 75 to 100,000 a year.
But I'm just saying, like, there's wrestlers in companies on TV that don't make what these guys are making either. Not to
Yeah.
say we know there is. Like,
Now, hold on. You got to take into account the size difference in the paychecks.
Oh,
So if you take that into consideration, they're making John Cena money.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So, real quick, Lightning the Titan, he answered our question and said that it's his brand name for his channel. That's the story behind it. But he's wanting to know what we thought about all the releases. Look, this is my opinion about it. WWE is a business.
bingo.
And if someone is not able to perform, if someone's not able to bring in the money, regardless if we love these individuals or not, it is a business. And in a business, you have to be able to make money. For whatever reason, these individuals were not making money, so they cut them. Yes, I do question some things, the Braun Strowman thing, but nonetheless, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's going on with their financials. So there it is.
A lot of these were stemming from injuries and repeat injuries and multiple times off or extended periods off because of injuries. So I think they're trying to clear the injury prone ones because Braun was injured a couple times in the last few years. Dakota Kai habitually injured. Or Jade just got back from injury. You know, I mean, a lot of these were injury related.
Yeah, TKO's turning into like football, basketball, baseball. It's like, hey, if you're getting injured a lot, we can't keep paying on that insurance, and you're getting paid too much money to sit on the side. Right. I did read, and I don't know how true. I don't know if that was a Meltzer news or anybody else, but they said Braun Strowman is making too much money, so his was an injury. He was
he was making too much money.
He was main event money guy, and they weren't using him for main events anymore. So it's like, well, time to go again.
But he's also over 40 years old and can barely move. And that happens every single year. It's not TKO. It happens every year. They get rid of people. You have to look at the roster and go, okay, this. A lot of it has to do with maybe attitude we don't know about, lack of work ethic we don't know about. There's reasons, and there's not one person that includes Braun Strowman that's going to make people go, well, I'm not watching anymore because I wanted to watch those people. There's nobody who legitimately is upset that they're not there or will not miss them at all. And I mean, none of them.
Right.
And you know, it's kind of likened to the first snowfall in Minnesota on people driving. This happens every year, but we forget it happens.
Right, and that's what I was about to say. You know,
I can't believe it's snowing.
WWE's fiscal year starts right after WrestleMania. That's why, you know, I even, when I was reporting on this, posted that, you know, for a lot of wrestlers, WrestleMania season is exciting. They're going to be used WrestleMania, right? Well, for other wrestlers, if they're not being used, that's the time they get nervous because after WrestleMania, they're doing their cuts. That's why people are like, why does WWE just pick a day and just start cutting everybody? They don't really pick a day. Again, that's the beginning of their fiscal year, and every business trims the fat their fiscal year. So again, it's a business.
Got to do inventory, and they're wrestlers, so they don't really have physical inventory other than people.
And they could dump 50 more off the roster that would not be missed. And I could give you a list right now.
Right. You know,
I won't do it. I won't do it because that's 50 people I just mentioned. That's a long list. But you could easily get rid of the Miz. No one would miss him. You could get rid of Natalya. No one would miss her. You could get rid of Naomi. No one would miss her. You could get rid of, well, almost.
I would miss the Miz. I'd miss the Miz. I'm in the 1%.
I'm not saying he's not bad in his role, but he's been there forever.
Yeah, he's one of those people they're going to use for other stuff before they cut him. So I mean, that's the problem. So there's probably a lot of big names there that they could cut.
Yeah, but I think
I know exactly what you're saying, though, Bob.
Yeah, but I think Bob's point is this: even if you cut someone like the Miz and the rest of the people that he named, no one would say, I'm not watching WWE anymore because they've been cut.
Oh, you're shitting me. Bullshit. I could pick up 3 websites and there'd be somebody bitching that they'll never watch WWE again.
Oh, wow.
Because the Miz was cut or Naomi was cut or Natalya was cut.
Do you see this? Do you see this Mountain Dew? Do you see this Mountain Dew?
Yes.
I'm addicted to Mountain Dew. Every single night I say, tonight's the night I stop. But guess what?
Do it again.
You got another one.
I do.
You know,
They're free.
You
They're
also
nice
got to
and
look
chilled.
at WWE. It's expanded greatly in the last 8 months to a year. They picked up AAA. They got Evolve. They got LFF or whatever it is. I mean,
Yeah,
they've
all
branched
yeah.
out quite a bit. So for them to trim fat somewhere is not a big surprise.
Yeah. Now, speaking of LFG, man, I'm so shocked that Humphrey was cut because this girl, man, and the Undertaker said it. She's going to change female wrestling. I mean, this woman is
Who's
a
Humphrey?
beast.
That gigantic freak-looking girl?
Yeah.
She's not changing shit.
Man,
Maybe diapers or bedspreads at the local nursing home if she gets her degree for that kind of thing. But she ain't changing the wrestling
I
business at all.
disagree. I think that she absolutely would be the Brock Lesnar of the females division.
Brock
Yeah, but
Lesnar's
she had that
daughter.
potential.
Have you seen Brock Lesnar's daughter? She'd be the Brock Lesnar of the female.
Yeah, I was going to say.
She
Although-
looks like
probably got a
Brock
point.
Lesnar.
Although if she came in the dressing room, people would be like, "What? They brought Brock back? Brock's
I
back."
know.
Spitting image.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead, Mark.
Brock's in the women's
All
division.
right. So next we go to out of locker room with Paul, Braun, and Seth. And what pissed me off about this is they portrayed Braun as just an idiot.
No, well, let me
understand-
interrupt
you
you, Mark.
understand-
What they're doing is they
Yeah.
are treating him the exact way that his dad and his uncle was betrayed as, and I get it. He has that bloodline from the Steiners, and that's exactly how they were. They were kind of betrayed as dumb but smart at the same time. So I didn't hate it because I know exactly what they're trying to do.
Hey man, that standard math promo is still one of the best promos ever cut.
That's why I said they betray dumb guys with intelligence, though.
Did you see Braun? Did you see Braun? What the heck is his name? Braun Breaker, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see him
that's
cut
right.
that? Did you see him cut that promo at one of the WrestleMania pre-shows?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yep.
Sounded just like his brother or uncle.
Uncle, yeah.
Yeah, he's going places, man.
But
I
to go back to that Happy Humphrey chick, I would like to see her against Nia Jax at least once, so I can decide which one I never want to see again. The most.
I want to see her not the type of bullshit body slam that Jade does by having to lift her up off of the top rope. I'd be willing to bet that Humphrey could body slam her, just picking her up the same way.
How funny would it be with her and that JD guy together with their heads like that? That'd be such a weird. That'd be hilarious. Freak Show Supreme.
I shudder to think her birthing a child.
She could carry him on her shoulders. What a visual! Randy Savage and Elizabeth in reverse. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. Cooker, there's a question for you from the comments.
What I
They
do?
want to know with
I swear she was. I swear to God, she was alive when I left the room. Who said anything else?
He wants to know, how does a wrestler with your experience get over with fans if they don't control their story?
Oh.
Luck. Back in the day, or even today, a lot of people get over somehow they get over. They don't want to get over. Remember the Daniel Bryan stuff? I mean, they tried their best not to get him over, and he kept getting over and getting over, and now he can't get over himself. But other than that,
same thing.
It just kind of happens. Like Austin
Yeah.
he didn't all of a sudden just become, Steve Austin. It kind of built over time. He came out as a ringmaster, and then it was Steve Austin. It just kind of clicked. It was that one promo, and people just went, "Whoa!" Even though he was getting over before that, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. Well, it did happen with Rusev, with Rusev Day.
Well, let's not talk about that.
Well, I'm just saying he was getting over, and Vince didn't want that to happen. So, yeah, you're right.
And all I thought when he came out last night was, well, I bet he's happy. It's back to the same old nothing.
And we will get there. Go ahead, Mark.
Next we go to Waller and Adam Pearce. What the hell is Waller's first name?
Grayson Waller.
Future released character.
Right. Anyways, apparently Waller's got a match that night, and he offers it so graciously to his partner Austin.
Yep. They it's obvious by this and by the match that they're about to break up. Now, which one is going to become a star? Is any of them going to become a star? That's the question.
No.
I disagree.
So we don't need to go into Austin.
I disagree. I think Austin
Sheamus?
Theory is going to come into that. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark. So it would have turned out to be was Austin against Sheamus. Sheamus won the match, and this is where they messed up with the camera work because after the match, they went directly to the color commentary guys, and then they put up some type of a visual because they were announcing something, and Mark's favorite commentary, he was like, Michael Cole was like, oh wait, they're Grayson and Austin, they're arguing, but we missed it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, isn't that something important to show that they're arguing?
Yeah, that's not on Cole though. That's not on Cole, Mark.
Well, no, I get that. I wasn't saying it was on Cole. I'm saying what happened though. This was a mess up with WWE because to see these guys arguing is important to the story that they're trying to create between the two.
In my defense, I didn't even slam Michael Cole for that one.
Well, I wasn't either.
I was making sure he heard you because I was like, I know if you say something like that, it's like, no, Mark, wait, Michael Cole didn't mess up this time. It was production.
This is a rare mistake in production by WWE. They don't normally make these type of mistakes.
Well, that's the magic or lack thereof live television.
It's not exactly live. It's got a 7-second.
Back in my day, they made a mistake of actually filming my matches.
Damn.
That even hurt me to say.
Hey, if you can't pick on yourself, let your friends do it.
Bob, listen. You just think of it this way: your wrestling career has led you down a path that landed you on this podcast, man.
That's true. That's true.
I was like, all that coke I did in WCW is really fucking me up now.
It's coke. Hey, I missed all the fun. I never did drugs. Damn it. Oh, I'm going to wait till I get to become like 80 years old. I'm going to be the grumpiest guy in the nursing home, and I'm going to do all the drugs possible. Like I'm kidding myself and thinking I'll be 80 years old someday. Come on.
All right, Mark.
Still make these.
Oh my God. There's so many places I can go with this, but I'm just going to leave it alone. All right. So next we go to Judgment Day. AJ Styles comes in on him, and Dom is just overwhelmed with all these challenges that he asked Finn to take care of AJ because they've got history together. AJ, excuse me. Finn says, am I your lackey or what? He says, yeah, I'll take care of it.
Yeah. How long do you think they're going to drag this out before they actually have Dom turn on, or you're going to have? Actually, I don't think it's Dom that's going to turn. I think it's going to be, what's his name again?
Finn.
Yeah, Finn Balor. I think he's the one that's going to turn on Dom.
It's going to be 3 months, 17 days, 13 weeks, 4 hours, and 33 seconds.
Oh man! So, do you guys think though? Is it going to be Finn that turns on Dom, or is it going to be Dom that turns on Finn, and Finn's supposed to be the babyface? Because the way the crowd's chanting for Dom, I don't know.
I think the entire Judgment Day turns on Finn, and it's going to be the stab in the back by Judas McDonough. That's where I see it going. I don't see Finn and Dom being the main. I see it being JD being the guy. He's getting frustrated and all of this stuff, and then it's like he's going to be the one to put the nail in the coffin and kick Finn out or turn on him and they jump Finn. Again, I don't know what they do with Finn after that, if he becomes Finn babyface or if he stays angry Finn and still, anti-hero. But
angry Finn.
That NXT Finn, we weren't sure if we were cheering or booing. He was fighting everybody. It's like that Finn and what he became with Judgment Day. But I don't know. I don't see one person turning on another, just the group kicking him out.
Why don't we see the Demon anymore ever?
Because Vince isn't there. Because Vince isn't there.
Did
And
Vince?
that's all he saw. All he saw Finn as was the demon. It's like, that's the money, so we're gonna save it for big pay-per-views, and that's it.
Oh, dude, they're wasting so much talent with not having the demon.
Yeah, I think Edge requested that he be the demon for their match because he wanted to do that. So it's like,
See, though,
I don't know.
my
I'd love to
problem-
see that happen again some kind of way, but
My-
the
my
Judgment Day is
problem-
not the place.
My problem with the demon character was this. Yeah, the appearance looked really cool, but that was about it. When Finn Balor was the demon, the only thing different about Finn Balor was his entrance. Once he got to the ring, he wrestles like Finn Balor. To me, if you're going to have that character where you turn into it, everything should be different about you. I mean, look at Mick
But-
Foley. He completely changed his wrestling style whenever for each character.
But I'll bet you $1 that they showed more Finn Balor as the demon,
Oh,
action
yeah.
figures, T-shirts, mask gimmicks that look like him with his paint. That's a mistake because it's all about money.
Right. Yeah.
Appeal
that's
to the
true.
wallet, not the mind.
All right. So next we go to Becky Lynch having a tirade. Lyra comes out. They go at it again. You know, actually, you know what?
Cat fight.
I'm seeing more out of Lyra than I anticipated.
Oh, when she got on the ground and rolling around, we've seen a lot more out of her.
Right. But that's not where I was heading. But yeah.
He was talking about the wrestling part, Bob.
Right.
So was I. I was talking about those fancy
Well,
wrestling boots she had on.
But the problem with Laura,
Don't get me wrong. I rewound it. Don't get me wrong. I rewound it.
the problem with
Slow-mo.
Lyra, the problem with Laura is this: we've been waiting to hear her talk, cut promos. I don't think she's very good.
Have we?
It sounds like it sounded like she was reading something when she was cutting that promo.
You know, when I think about it, last week I was sitting there, I was eating dinner, I was eating a steak, and I was enjoying it. And the whole time I was thinking, God, I just wish that Lyra would talk. So you're right, we have been waiting for it.
I've been waiting for her to talk.
Okay.
I wanted to see if she had.
Don't group us into your whacked out mind thought.
I wanted to
whatever.
see if she had any personality, and I just don't like it. I don't
Well,
think she's any good.
We go back to when they were rolling on the mat. There's some personality there. I'll tell you that right
now. And Becky Lynch, she just does nothing for me as far as wrestling goes.
No, absolutely nothing. You know, she was great for 3 months after she got her nose broke. Other than that, I can live without her.
She comes across as trying too hard to be the bad girl.
Right.
Well, the whole man gimmick in itself, it's dumb. I just.
Well, with her being a woman and calling herself the man, we know she can't get in the military now, for God's sake.
Well, if that's who she really is, then we know Seth Rollins is taking it up the ass. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he's biannual,
That would explain the new gimmick.
Explains the way he dresses.
The Rock and Roman right is across. Never mind. You know what? So my piece on that whole segment, I was in and out of the room. But
Pat Patterson died years ago. What are you talking about?
Guess who came to see you? Nobody. Never mind. Nobody gets that Pat Patterson joke. So, yeah, it's just to get that personality out of Lyra, and it does sound the same week after week, but we're getting the personality now as opposed to nothing at all. But it's better what she's doing than what she was doing before that. Becky's pulling it out of her. I agree. Becky's gimmick probably needs to be retooled because she kind of stole her husband's nickname and made it a gimmick. But, it is what it is. If we can get something out of Lyra, Becky's probably leaving with the belt.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely leaving with the belt.
We'll have a new champion at Backlash.
Nope.
You don't think?
Nope. Ronda Rousey's coming back. Ronda Rousey's coming back taking the title.
Nah, bullshit. She's coming back for a world title.
I'm just kidding. I just want her back. I don't care what anybody says. As long as she's in shape. As long as she's in shape. If she's not, I don't care.
If we are going to fantasy book, I will be honest with you. I would love to see a match between her and Tiffany Stratton.
Oh yeah,
for that title. because I think that, especially because they're cutting promos, I think that they would actually complement one another because Tiffany doesn't cut these fire great ass promos, but neither does Ronda Rousey. So I think that they would complement each other where it wouldn't seem like their promos are all that bad. You know what I'm saying? Understand what I'm saying?
Plus, it will be something a little different as opposed to the same people on the roster time after. Like, who wants to see Nia Jax against Tiffany Stratton? I do not.
I that's exactly what I said when I see. I'm like, not again. This is just terrible. But I will tell you, if this happened with Ronda Rousey going against Tiffy, Ronda Rousey absolutely has to kill Tiffy. There's no way.
Well, you got to give her some,
that Tiffy would be able to beat Ronda Rousey. No.
Yeah, that's what he said about Liv pinning her too, but that happened.
Yeah, but you know what? Liv, I can see Liv that meanness, that mean bitch coming from her. I don't see that within Tiffy. I just don't.
Well, that's not her character. That's why you don't see it with her.
Plus, you want to see Ronda get that.
Even if they tried it, I don't think she could pull it off.
I don't think that's the way we go with that. Like, her character doesn't call for her to be bitchy. She's just a athletic Barbie, but not in a sense of like a Tori Wilson, a wrestling sense. You know what I'm saying?
Plus,
like, you want Tori couldn't wrestle. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, you want people you want the fans to react to Ronda like they do Logan Paul because they're ignorant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't see Ronda Rousey being able to come. Even
the fans boo. The fans don't boo Logan Paul because he's a heel. They boo Logan Paul because he's there. There's a difference,
right? Yeah, yeah. But Logan Paul does have that face, though, that I think people would just pay money to see him get his ass kicked.
Well, sure, but
well, yeah, they had a whole chair swinging booth at WrestleMania. They hit him with a chair, so
Yeah, it was funny, but I never seen anybody hit him in the head. What was up to that? They're all hit him in the body. Was that like you can only hit the body?
Yeah, WWE does not allow chair shots to the head anymore.
Neither every once in a while they do.
Even with arcade games.
Oh no, in arcade games you can do whatever you want. You can believe the women bleed in the arcade games now.
Yep. No, AEW did the same thing. You cannot do a headshot unless it's something special, according to Tony Khan. It has to be approved.
That's PR bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. But I mean, look, even Maven said that when he was taking those shots from the Undertaker, he's like, that shit hurt.
But there are some of the best chair shots in history were protected. That's the key. Protect yourself. Don't take it to the head like Cactus Jack and The Rock in that Royal Rumble match. I quit, whatever. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You can take a protected chair shot and you can get the same response. You could take one protected chair shot to the head and a little flick of the blade. It'll mean more than 20 to your back where you got bruises for a month. That's the ridiculous mentality of wrestling. To know it's a work, to tell people it's a work, to explain the storylines at the press conferences after the shows, that it's all a work. We're doing this because this storyline works. But then brag about all these bruises on their back because some guy bashed you over the back 10 times with a chair, when a little shot to the head protected where no one gets hurt, a little flick of the blade for a little bit of blood will mean 10 times more to the box office, to the ratings, and to the interest in the show and the believability. Oh, damn it.
Get this man a Mountain Dew.
A prime example of that, a prime example of what you're talking about is
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. This is what I want. When Christian and Edge does, I can't remember what they call the
concerto.
Yeah. When they do that, that's a protective spot, and the fans love it. Absolutely.
In theory, you can always make a mistake.
Yeah,
but that's all on them. It's not like the guy protect. When you get a chair shot and you put your hands up at the last second, you do it right. You're protecting yourself. You're putting all your trust in them. And I haven't heard that they've ever hurt anybody, but there's always a chance because you could either make it look too fake, or you want to make it look good, and it becomes too good.
Yeah,
but again,
you look at all the guys now. Whenever they're about to do a table shot, they've started now to protect themselves.
Well, yeah, that's not stupid.
No,
why not?
You're right. I agree. But back in the day, that's why people were getting hurt because they weren't doing that. But go ahead, Mark.
Stupid. That all came from ECW, I think, back in the day. People just went and took the chairs. Remember Mike Awesome hitting that guy from Japan? I don't remember what his name was. That we were just killing him with chairs. That's stupid. That's stupid.
All right, so next we go to Roxanne. I can't believe I still got a job. Perez. I don't see how she made it through the cuts, but whatever. Against Io Sky. at the end of the match, Io won. Julia, who I don't really understand or get, came out to help with the bashing of Io Sky.
Yeah, I just
Somebody
don't,
has
I'm not
pictures of certain individuals with farm animals. That's why they have a job. That's all I can figure out.
invested. Not invested in this. I don't like Io Sky as a champion. I just don't. I know she gets a huge pop. I get it for myself. Just can't get behind it. Can't get behind
You know what
the
a lot of that
storyline.
can be? A lot of that could be with the connection that WWE is trying to get with Japan and companies in Japan and book or, arenas in Japan. And you put someone like her in that position and that kind of opens the door for that because I don't know how famous she was in Japan, but I assume fairly well known.
Right.
And that could all be a ploy, like the Mexican thing. They're really not buying AAA hoping that it succeeds. They just want to get more control of Mexico.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so if that's the case with Japan, why would you not use Shinsuke?
Because you're trying to appeal to the woman fans. I don't know. What am I supposed to be the answer man for everything around here? Because Sensei's old. Sensei. What am I watching? Cobra Kai. He's old. No one cares about that guy. Come on, Michael
He's got hell
Jackson
of a name in
arrested.
Japan.
Japanese Michael Jackson. Come on.
Yeah, but I agree with Bob because when he came back, I mean, he got a small pop, but nothing special. And if for some reason it doesn't feel, it seems like the fans just cannot connect with him for some reason.
You know why? Because they got rid of that guitar carrying fool with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that killed Shinsuke before this, and being a huge fan of him in NXT, and I'll go back to WrestleMania 34 where it all died. So when they turned him heel, and then we got 6 months of Shinsuke doing nut shots, it's like, well, there goes him. So, he pretty much died at that point. Rick Boogs revitalized it. They teased the King Nakamura thing as a ode to Japan and all of that. But they never put him in a strong position other than winning the Royal Rumble on the main roster.
Right.
Yeah, he could have been a lifer in NXT and had a way better WWE career.
And even when they put the belt on him, he's always been a transitional champion.
Yeah,
but that's just some guys' positions. You know what didn't die?
Yeah.
His bank account. He could have been released and should have been released because he's basically useless at this point. He doesn't get a response. He doesn't have great magic. I can't offhand think of any. I can't go, oh, geez, I remember that match. I cannot honestly think of any match of his that I would say I want to see again.
Yeah, but you know what,
No.
Booker? Hold on real quick. Let me say this.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying from your perspective. He's still getting a paycheck. But I've watched so many different interviews with professional wrestlers, including the Dark Side of the Ring just did a show on him.
Billy Jack Haynes? Oh no.
No, Jesse Ventura stole and Hulk Hogan stole his gimmick. Graham.
Superstar Billy Graham, yeah.
Yes,
Billy Graham.
Superstar Billy Graham. Even though he was getting Money in the Bank, when he lost that title, that did something to him. These, for people to think that, it's just a gimmick, those titles really don't matter. To a lot of wrestlers, those titles do matter because they feel like the company actually trusts them. They feel like they're in a position finally that the company says, we trust you to be the face of our company to put ass in seats. And when these guys are using transitional champions, for some of them, I think that fucks with them mentally, that they feel like the company just doesn't trust me anymore.
But that's on them. That's not on the company. That's not on the wrestling business. Billy Graham, I was a huge fan of Billy Graham as a kid. Still am. He's one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. But when you can't separate your own ego in a business where it's fake, he ragged on Ronda Rousey when she came back, and because she lost her first UFC fight, he ragged on her big time. He was like, she's a stinking nasty bitch. Because she cried when she lost her first time losing a real fight. She lost and she cried. Maybe she didn't handle it as well as some people thought she did, but he ragged her, called her everything from a slut to a whore, all these ridiculous things. You never even met the woman, but he's calling her all these things because she got upset for losing a title that she actually worked for and really won. And he claims he wanted to kill himself. He got on drugs. He got all these things, problems with him because he lost a title he never really won. And a title that he was told he was going to lose the day he won it. That's idiots. You can't be a mark for yourself and then make us feel sorry for it. I'm sorry. And I'm a huge Billy Graham fan, but that is pathetic. And he was doing drugs before he lost the title. You can't put your wrestling championship in the hands of people like that for long periods of time because it's all going to go south.
Right. Right.
But I
Oh,
hate people
and
with
I,
that mentality.
yeah, and I agree, but I'm just saying from the wrestlers that I've read their interviews and listened to a podcast, that's just what they say is these titles actually mean something to me. And I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm saying I agree with them. I'm just saying that it
Yeah, I know.
appears,
I'm just going.
right. I'm just saying it appears. I mean, look at Bret Hart. Bret Hart's
Well, Bret Hart's a mark
Yeah.
for himself. He legitimately
Right.
believes he's the
Yeah,
greatest
I
of
was
all
about to say
time.
Bret Hart definitely
Even-
marked for himself.
even back when they did that Wrestling with Shadows documentary, his whole house was a shrine to himself, and that's fine. You're allowed to be proud of what you accomplished, but don't think it was all you and it was because of your greatness. If his dad wasn't who his dad
Right.
was, he never would have got the break to begin with.
Right. Right.
He got
Owen
more of
was
a break
better
than he ever
anyhow.
deserved, and now he's
Yep.
nothing but but Owen had a horrible punch. So
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you know,
Would you say, Mark?
But Owen was better anyhow.
I agree. I agree. Go ahead.
but Owen didn't take it seriously like Brett, and that can be a
Oh.
downfall.
No.
Yeah.
Brett took it too
Yeah.
serious. Owen didn't take it serious enough. And look what we got. Brett's 60-some years old. He's still bitter as bitter can be.
Oh, absolutely.
and it's
He's-
ridiculous.
Right
Yeah.
now, he is on this tour, around these interviews, and I call it the bitter tour, the Bret Hart bitter tour. Because,
Yeah, it's sad, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I like
agree.
to tell people because everybody likes to rag on, like Shawn Michaels back in the day. When I worked for the WWF in 1995, and I probably told you this before, but I'm going to say it again for that guy with a weird name who's probably not listening anymore. But when I was in the WWF in 1995, Shawn Michaels was cool as shit. You know who walked around like his whole life was miserable, like he hated life, like he hated being there? Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
And that was in 1995, but everybody thought Shawn was the shit. And I can't speak for how their experiences were, but I'm saying Shawn was cool to me. He was always goofing around, happy-go-lucky. Bret walked around like the people owed him everything, and he was miserable because he didn't get it. So
Brett's
suck on
only-
that news.
Brett's only killing his own legacy, so
Oh, absolutely he is. Absolutely.
because
Then I get it. He's a Hall of Famer, and people make a big deal. He rolled his eyes and Triple H shook his hand at WrestleMania, which I don't believe that's what he did, but that's what they implied. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Mark.
All right, so next we go to Rusev versus Otis, Redeemer for the win. I mean, this is just rehashing what he had in AEW, so I'm not excited over this. They had an opportunity to rebrand this guy and make him into something great again, and they just pissed all over it.
I think that they may be rebranding him, and we may not just see it yet. And I could be dead wrong. But when I seen that match between him and Otis, and kind of the little history that they're starting with those guys already, for some reason, I have a feeling that Otis and Rusev are going to be put together, and they may throw in one other person. I think that they're going to break up Otis's little team that he has, and we're going to see Otis and Rusev somehow, some way together.
Well, if they threw Lana in there and went to a different industry, it could make a lot of money because there's fetishes for things like that.
The fat fetish.
Read between the lines.
Speaking of which, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade has implied that she's opening OnlyFans the day her contract expires from WWE, which I think is early June. So for $15.99, you can probably see her butthole a month.
Yeah, but you know what? For free, you can see millions of others. So sorry, Cora. I'm jaded.
Yeah, I can't remember the name that she's using, but as soon as she got cut, the first thing she said is my name. I'm going to be going by this.
It's Evelyn Black. I think.
Yeah.
that's
I
the name
swear
she
to
had
God,
before.
I swear to God, how desperate do you need to be in life if you will pay to see people naked in this day and age? I don't care who it is. Unless it's Marilyn or Raquel Welch, but she's dead. But then again, I wonder what her corpse looks like. Anyways, the point is, anybody that would pay, like, okay, I'm opening an OnlyFans. Come on, it's ridiculous. Who cares? You
I
pay money
agree,
to
but
see
there's
that when
desperate
there's
guys out there.
there's millions of better looking people than her. Speaking of which, I went to Hooters the other day. Oh my God, the best looking waitress I've ever seen.
I thought they were closed now.
Not in my area.
They didn't close them all.
I know Memphis. It's hosted in Memphis.
Louisiana's safe from what they said. For
But
obvious
I don't
reasons.
understand this OnlyFans. I mean, what's she gonna do? She's probably just gonna be in like skimpy bikinis, blah blah blah. Save
Well,
your money, folks.
Who was it that left WWE and started her own OnlyFans, and she made
What's
Mandy
that?
Rose.
Lacey Evans?
Mandy
Oh,
Rose.
Mandy Rose. Yeah.
Mandy Rose. There you go.
She
Which
made
I
$1
don't
million
get
bucks
either.
a month.
She was hot as hell, but I don't get it.
Yeah, she made $1 million bucks in a month.
Trust me, I've looked up Mandy Rose nude pictures, OnlyFans leaks. I don't see really anything impressive, to be honest with you. Not for money.
I mean, you know,
Google
think
could
he
be her
paid
best
for it.
friend.
I'm talking about opening my own OnlyFans page.
Just don't look up the pictures on the dark web, Duke.
I want for Fat Man Fetish. Here I am.
Oh,
I
jeez.
want to make $1 million in a month.
Jeez.
Oh, my
Go ahead,
God.
Mark.
Next, we go to Pat McVeigh and Gunther in the ring. Just pretty much talking smack.
Yeah.
By the way, what does that say? I got released from my contract. I have no faith in my ability. Look at my pussy. I mean, is that what it says?
You know what? Someone
That's pretty
posted
much the
that. Something
slogan.
similar to that.
That could be a T-shirt.
I think
Yeah.
that's the slogan.
Sorry, I didn't mean to use that word.
I don't care. You can say
What
pussy
was the
1,000
quote I
times
saw
a day.
today? I have no plans, so it's only fans.
I have no plans with only new shirt. Don't
Yeah,
talk
Matt-
too loud. WWE might use that.
Yeah. I mean, that was posted, I don't know where, but and there had to be at least 4 guys that said, dude, you got to copyright that.
Not to burst her naked bubble, but I honestly can't picture what she looks like, even based on the name. I know the name, but I can't even picture what she looks like.
Who? Mandy Rose?
Cora Jade. The only Jade I know is Cargill.
Oh. All right.
Just look up NXT.
This
Now,
segment,
if Jade Cargill did OnlyFans, I might consider a month's worth of that. Let me think about that.
this segment with Pat McAfee and Gunther, man, I don't know. I mean,
Boring.
yeah, look, let's be honest. Is anyone excited about the Backlash PLE coming up?
No, not especially, to be honest.
I don't even know what the matches are other than Gunther and the other guy.
The only thing I'm excited about is Mark coming over and me cooking and eating some good food.
Right, that's
there you go.
pretty much what I was going to say,
conversation.
too. Just
I
hanging out
say-
with company.
The only match I know about is Gunther and the guy who was asked to do the Hall of Fame as a host with Michael Cole or whoever the hell it was, and he didn't feel
Pat
like dressing up.
McAfee, yeah.
And he didn't feel like dressing up. He dressed like the guy who was going to the White House to meet the president to get more money to fight the Ukraine war. That's what he dressed like. And I don't appreciate it.
So the big match, the main event, is going to be Cena versus Orton, and I think that I am 99.9% sure that they've planted the seeds. I've recognized that R-Truth is going to interfere, causing Orton the title. But you have that match. You have McAfee versus Gunther. You have. I think that we're going to. Are we going to see? Do you guys think we're going to see Uso versus YouTube Boy?
Yeah. Logan Paul and Jey
Logan Paul.
Uso, and I think Dominic versus Penta is on the card too.
Yeah.
But what would R-Truth
And then Lyra and Becky.
Why
What
would
would
R-Truth?
What would
Sure.
payoff be? You don't want to see Randy Orton against a 50-something-year-old guy.
Honestly, this is, again, I could be wrong. This is just what's going to happen in my brain. Because R-Truth worships John Cena, he's going to cost Randy Orton the title. I'm not sure what they're going to do as far as that goes, but I do think that we're going to see John Cena turn on R-Truth. And I think that we're going to see a small one last run for R-Truth chasing the title. He's obviously not going to get it, but that's what I foresee happening because Cena did say R-Truth was one of the people that he would like to wrestle.
Maybe little Jimmy is going to interfere and cost Randy the match. Then it'll be Cena and little Jimmy against R-Truth and Randy.
So fucking
That'd be
awesome.
interesting.
Because John Cena's all like, you can't see me.
That'd be like
And
Shawn Michaels and God.
Again, John Cena, you can't see me. Little Jimmy, we can't see him.
You could even tag in and they could sell it like they do in Japan where they wrestle the blow-up dolls and stuff. You ever see that where Kenny Omega's wrestling? You ever see that match where Kenny Omega's wrestling? I mean, it's amazing. Stupid, but it's amazing.
Look, that's
was it a blow-up doll or was it a broom?
No, I think it was a blow-up doll.
Oh no! Look,
I think he did a blow-up doll.
Broom.
Might have been someone else with the blow up, though. I don't know.
That
Yeah,
may
you
sound
know what?
stupid.
Oddly
No.
enough, I
Hold
just
on,
saw
Mark.
that video today.
Uh-oh.
That may sound stupid, but
A video today.
it would be no different than what John Cena's match was when he faced I can't remember his name. He just died. Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
That match they had with Bray Wyatt, that was just dumb as hell.
Oh, that was crazy during the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, that
you
was
know,
it was
The
crazy.
Firefly Funhouse match.
yeah. Which, by the way, John Cena's the one that produced that. But it was
And
dumb.
John Cena lost the match at the end of the segment.
Yeah, but I'm saying is that match was dumb. So what Bob's saying,
Yeah.
it may sound crazy, but it's not any dumber. Or what about Randy Orton against Bray Wyatt, where the worms show up? You know,
The worms and the snakes on the
Dumb.
screen on the ring. Yeah, that was pointless.
Dumb, but memorable
But-
because you're talking about it.
talking about it. Yeah.
During a time where the rest of the world, think about that. The rest of the world, every sport, every Hollywood production, every newscast, everything shut down. The only business that kept rolling down the track was the WWE. That's impressive.
Wrestling.
Yep.
Wrestling.
Yep, that's the Mark. Let's get back to it.
The other left
Bring
is-
back the pandemic, damn it.
It was Seth versus Jay. And again,
So
anticlimactic.
yeah, but again, that thought was there. Could we actually see Seth win the title? But Bob, I have a question for you. A serious question. So we seen that Uso did a suicide dive. When he did, he lost his tennis shoe, one of the shoes. How dangerous? Look, how dangerous is that for these guys to be wearing their tennis shoes, especially if it's falling off their feet that easily? Are they exposing themselves to serious foot problems or being injured?
Who knows? I mean, how often does it happen? Not very often. So, I mean, they know what they're comfortable in. I don't approve of it. I think it's ridiculous. You know, you should always wear pro wrestling boots. You don't want to look like little Jimmy in the front row with his sister Mary wearing the little light up tennis shoes. Get some pro wrestling boots. You know, I heard John Cena owns a huge collection of pro wrestling boots, but he never wears them. What's wrong with that?
I don't think I've ever seen him wear a pair of boots.
Well, when he
I
first
have.
came
Yeah,
in,
Nope.
John Cena wore boots when he first came in, and when he changed the Thugonomics, he still had the boots.
But I get it. His
the
was a
twins did
gimmick.
the same thing. They had boots and switched to the day one, and they start wearing sneakers. So
It's just not a requirement.
The
I remember back in
reason-
the day,
the
the
reason why I
7-time.
actually-
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying the reason why I asked you about Cook is there's a lot of guys from your generation of wrestling that just one of the things they hate is seeing guys wrestle with tennis shoes. So I was just curious.
You know, they've always had gimmicks. I mean, there was a guy that was a barefoot hillbilly way back before Hillbilly Jim. There was a guy they called the werewolf that pretended he was a werewolf. They had a guy called the Mummy in the 60s where part of his thing would fly off. And I mean, these stupid gimmicks have always been around, but now it's become more the norm. You know.
And speaking of wrestling barefoot, as a professional wrestler yourself, if you was wrestling someone that was barefoot, how do you guys feel about that? Because I think about if I'm in a match with someone who's barefoot and their feet is coming that close to my face or even touching my face, that would just gross me out. I'd be like, fuck that. I mean, how did you guys feel about that?
I can't ever remember wrestling anybody barefoot.
Like Kevin, his whole career, Kevin Von Erich, he was
I was gonna say
barefoot.
Kevin Von
Not his whole
Erich was
career, but
known
most
for
of it. Not all the time, but
Yeah, Kamala.
oh yeah.
A lot of the Samoans wrestle barefoot.
Well, I think Tony Atlas would like it.
Man, that darker. When I watched Tony Atlas, my wife was with me watching it, the Dark Side of the Ring about Tony Atlas, and when he said that he likes people with tennis shoes to walk on his face, she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with
Yeah.
you?"
He likes them. You ever see that video of him posting? He's laying down and some girls just stomping on his head with their tennis shoes. I mean, Tony's a
Yeah.
nice guy, but he's
That he
insane.
paid for.
Yeah,
He paid for it.
and on top of it, Tony he made sure to make a point that was well, I don't whack off or nothing to it, but there's been stories of people who party with Tony Atlas and said that they had girls come to the ring. I mean, girls come to their
Hotel rooms, yeah.
and that one of the wrestlers would be fucking with the girls, having sex with them, and Tony would be laying on the floor, whacking off to them.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
He
the
gives
fuck?
He goes to a strip club and gives new meaning to the term lap dance on his face. Yeah, I'd like a lap dance. Oh, it's $20. I'll give you $50. Step on my face. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like,
but then again, I don't understand the foot fetish to begin with.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
everybody's got their kinks,
I guess. But
I like a hot foot Sunday and Tiffany Stratton. And wait a minute,
I can tell you what my kink was not last night. It wasn't Monday Night Raw because it didn't excite me at all. None whatsoever. I would give this. Maybe our expectations is up too high. We're expecting too much since we got that Raw after WrestleMania. I don't know, but since that Raw, the rest of the Raws that has followed has been really hard for me to watch. What about Bart?
Dude, it's a C- all day.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, hold on. The first 10 minutes was probably an A plus. Everything else went to shit.
Yeah, I agree. Gerald?
Yeah, so it went about the same for me. I mean, I was in and out watching the show, and it never like snapped my interest. I did watch the entire Io Sky Roxanne Perez match, and I did like that. So that got a solid A for me. The opening segment, A plus. The main event was fun, predictable but fun. So I mean, that's where that one fell off at like maybe a C, B minus, C plus maybe.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on, George. You didn't have any questions in your mind about will we see Seth Rollins win that championship? Because you said it was predictable. And to me, what did make it predictable was the fact that this new stable, I guess you can call it, with Paul Heyman, I was like,
But you got to believe something was going to happen. You're not going to let Seth lose either. But you're not gonna take the belt off. You know what I'm saying? So it was like the WrestleMania after Kofi won the belt. Him and Seth Rollins both walked out as champions. They're like, all right, let's have champion versus champion match and put both the belts on the line. They're not gonna lose their belts the first night of champions. Like it rarely happens. I mean, you make all that money with Jey Uso, all that money with Seth Rollins, yes, but like all that money with Jey Uso just snatched the belt off of him right after that. The whole reason you gave him the belt was because he's got 40,000 people doing the yeet all over the arena. So it's like, all right, let's kill everybody's buzz and do that.
When they showed that vignette of Uso with all the kids that love him, my brain said, he's almost the new Hulk Hogan as far as the kid. Wait, hold on, where I'm going with this, Bob. As far as the kids, him being that main attraction with all of these kids, kind of like Hulk Hogan was, like Bret Hart was, like John Cena was. All of these kids that love him, the kids appeal to him. So it's almost like he is, again, the new Hogan, Bret Hart, or whatever you want to call it, the main attraction.
The kids phenomenon. Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. But Bob, did you think this match was predictable?
Well, I was just impressed you said the word Hulk Hogan and he didn't get booed. But no,
it was for his flavor of the month.
I mean, it was okay. It was an okay match. But my thing is, I've been a wrestling fan since 1975, and there's times, peaks and valleys like the business itself where I lose interest, and I'm really losing interest now. I only watch the show out of respect for you because you asked me to come on the show, and you always treat me with respect. So I watch it. I don't always pay attention like I should, but I watch it. And I am legitimately losing interest, and I don't watch very much other stuff on Netflix, even though I love Netflix. I'm thinking about canceling Netflix because I'd rather watch Max because of the Righteous Gemstones. That's what I'd like to do.
Speaking of which, I just started watching Vice Principals today.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a gas. Oh my god,
it's great.
I haven't made it to that yet.
Yeah. I just want to make my point, though. And I'm not bitter. I'm not this. I'm not that. There's times where I just lose interest, and I'm losing interest with all of today's wrestling for the moment.
That's not uncommon, though. I think that happens to most of us.
And I'm not going to sit there and do like other people do, and they'll say, well, WWE sucks. I don't watch it anymore. If you don't watch, you don't know, but I've just lost interest. I'm not going to say it sucks, and every show can't be a home run. I don't believe that anybody goes out there to do a half-ass match. They do what's given to them, and they do the best of their ability, and sometimes it works out. Sometimes it don't. Sometimes we love it. Sometimes we don't. But I'm just losing interest. I just want to make that clear.
Well,
and I might quit watching for a while. But I'll come on here and tell you I watched it and you won't know the difference.
Okay,
Because I'm perverted and I'm funny and I make a fool out of myself on a weekly basis. I don't have to watch the show to do that. I do that on my own time.
I think if we were all being honest when we are watching the show, especially if we're watching it after it was live, and I will admit it, I fast forward through a lot of the stuff. I stopped to watch a few minutes of it to see what happens at the end. But a lot of it I do fast forward through it just because it's gotten so boring for me.
Hey, and you know what? Something that got looked over by me, and I didn't see it till I got on, like, started watching like what they had clips of on YouTube. Karrion Kross is getting a lot of traction right now. Like, one, he has a documentary on YouTube about his post WrestleMania and WrestleMania experience. Like, he talks about Bloodsport and WrestleMania. Also, he had a promo last night on the show, which I totally missed. I don't know if I was in the room or not, but he had a really good promo last night. So hopefully they push him, change his name back to Killer Kross. Maybe, I don't know, but like, he's been doing a lot, and like, he's one of, and I know he's one of Triple H's guys. Like, they say, oh well, we don't talk to certain people. But him being from Killer Kowalski school, like, with, you know, knowing Triple H for as long as he has, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the Intercontinental run or even gets a crack at Jey Uso, like on a PLE. So,
Mark, did you miss that?
I missed it completely. I don't remember, and I didn't wait for Raw last night. I
don't know if they recorded it for YouTube or what, but it was during the show, and I don't know if it was a commercial break. Just like we missed Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, I'm guessing they recorded it anyway. It was something live done like they do in the suites when they do certain interviews in front of crowds. Crowd popped when he popped up on the screen and everything. So I have no idea when that was.
You saw they had Logan Paul attack Jimmy after the show or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the internet is very split on if they want Logan Paul or even. But I'm like, Jey Uso needs to defend the belt. Like, you can't just not. You know, he can fall to the background behind the Seth Rollins gimmick, or he can defend the belt every pay-per-view, and then, you know, you compare what kind of champion is that way. I mean, back in my day, Jack Tunney used to strip the belt if people didn't defend the belt in 30 days.
And that's supposed to be still the rule too. It's just they don't follow it. How long do you guys? You think this is going to be a long? You think that Uso's going to carry this for very long, or do you think that it's going to be a quick?
It'll be over before SummerSlam, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not going to be a year. He might lose that SummerSlam. There's rumored no King of the Ring, so I could see him losing that SummerSlam.
Actually,
or even earlier.
Yeah, and that's not a rumor anymore. It's been confirmed. No King
what happened?
Of the Ring.
What? Oh,
no King
who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, that was the.
They're saying no King of the Ring and no War Games.
Yeah,
no War Games.
The King of the Ring was.
That's it. I'm done watching.
What about that Ozzy Osbourne song? That's the greatest intro song I've ever for War Games.
I'm never watching again.
Never again am I watching WWE. See you next Tuesday.
All right, guys. That is the recap. I think we all agree that Raw wasn't this great product. Yeah. Bob, do you have anything to promote? Go ahead.
Raw seems to be spelling the alphabet. Raw after Mania, A, then B, then C, then D. Oh, it's getting worse as we go. Maybe Triple H is getting burned out. I don't know.
Don't know. But do you have anything to promote?
No.
Nothing?
Sure, I could, but why? Who cares? Who cares that I'm gonna embarrass myself in this ring back here in a couple of weeks?
Oh, George, what you got going on?
Well, I am doing the same thing Bob's doing, because this Saturday I'm in the Mississippi Rumble. That'll be in Hancock High School in Kill, Mississippi. I will ref, and then I will be in the Rumble. So hoping to be the first ever TGCW Mississippi champion. Who knows? Maybe they'll put a belt on me.
I've been to Mississippi. That could be embarrassing.
Sometimes it is for me too. But you know what? I'm there. I'm getting. What do you say? I'm getting paid, right?
That's all that matters. Long as they spring for the ketchup on the hot dog and ice in the drink, you're fine.
Yeah, my one wrestling match every 6 to 12 months is going to happen Saturday. So yeah.
Mark, I know you don't have anything to promote because you don't do anything besides the podcast. So I'll promote for you. We will be back on Thursday to do a recap of AEW Dynamite. It's going to be me, Mark, and Dirty Mitch. And
Hey,
then
can I say
oh,
something?
Sure.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No, go ahead.
it's a serious question. I got a message from you a long time ago about doing your podcast, and you never got back to me. I was just wondering when you wanted me to do it.
Oh, I would love to do it. The reason why I haven't.
No, I was trying to do the Just Incredible thing. You see, you
Oh.
interviewed him,
I
and he
caught
forgot
it.
you even
I
did
caught
it.
it.
Oh my God, you ruined the whole bit.
Well,
Oh my God, I caught it.
but the thing is,
Everybody caught it but him.
the reason why is Bob was actually supposed to be on my podcast. Something came up. It was emergency. He wasn't able to do it. And then he had mentioned that he doesn't really like doing podcasts.
You can't.
So
You can't pick and choose when you bury the bodies. That's the thing.
but
Bob, you got to check your messages. You were on the podcast already.
Oh, that's right. I talked about Evil Knievel, right? Is that what we talked about?
Yep. And before we go, actually, Bob, you have your own podcast.
Well,
When nights do you guys do this?
Whenever, we only do it here, right at this place, this studio thing I'm sitting in, and we want people to do it live. So it's kind of like intermediate podcast because you got to get people to come here.
Got it.
Like people in person, live in person, which is fine with me because I hate doing it. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it. This is why I do it the way I do because I don't like.
I always ask the same questions. Were you a wrestling fan growing up? How'd you get into business? Holy crap! Was this over yet?
On that note, we will be Thursday for Dynamite. There will be no review for SmackDown because there's a PLE on Saturday that we'll be watching. We will probably do that review on that PLE on Sunday. Be watching for my announcements for all the different guests I have coming on, guys. Until then, you guys have a great rest of your week. Ooh. And Mart, what do you got to say?
Missed the bunkhouse stampede matches. Oh, wait. Ring the damn bell.
Ring the damn bell. Good night, everybody.